Hello and welcome to the another episode of game development. So last time all I did was to create a little bit scene as a test wall there. As well as I also created some animations for the player. For today's episode I am planning to add a player function such as animation, movement, etc. Not only that, if I have time, I will probably add a game stated script which will manage all the game functions. So for player functions, my first priority is to add the input system and to handle the animations. And for checkpoints and the level complete scene, I will probably add in the couple of next scenes. The game stated script is the one of the most important part of the game, which handles all the background things such as level loading and the file saving, getting data from file etc. So I already created some folders to save my game data. We'll have three main folders. The resource folder will contain all the resources necessary for the game, and the script folder will contain all the scripts for the game, that is all the player code, level code etc. for the game. The scene folder will contain the scenes of the game, that is the player scene, level scene etc. So one thing I also added extra is a raycast to the node in a player scene. What it does is to shoot a ray like a laser from a point to another in a straight line and returns if something is colliding or not. It is useful to detect if player is standing on the ground or not. So this is the script for the player input, and all of this you see here are the constants and the variables for the player script, and all of those you see below are the functions. Among those three functions are system inbuilt function, whereas the other three functions are user defined function. Among those three inbuilt functions, the first, the ready function, executes when the game is started, and the second, the process function, executes each frame, and the third one, input function, executes whenever the input is given. Although we do not have anything in this ready function, it is one of the most important function on the game engine. Physics process function, the first line is to apply the gravity, and the second line is to limit the value of gravity within the maximum fall limit. The third line checks if we can jump or not. If we can jump, it will set the isjumpable value to true, otherwise it will execute the gravity time function, which isn't important at this time. All those four lines are just to check if jump button is pressed or not and is player jumpable or not. If both are true, it will apply the jump force to the player, otherwise it will not. At last, it will handle all the movement for the player. In handle movement function, all of those are just for left right movement of the player, and this handle animation function is just to handle the animation of the player. Put event function, the first line is to get the player left right movement, whereas the second line is to just to know if jump button is pressed or not. In last three lines, the first one is to cast the rays, and the second one and third one will set each near floor value to true if the ray is colliding with anything. So for animation path, those three already variables will get the three node, that is sphere node, animation pair node and recast 2D node. In handle animation function, those three will play the run animation and the idle animation based upon the input dir value. Those two will play jump start and jump down animation based upon player velocity in y direction. So hope you guys liked the video. If you want to see similar content, you can always follow me. If you have any suggestion, feel free to give me any feedback. Thank you very much.